See, this is the reason why we need to be actively participating in the government. If you don't know who your mayor is, you don't know who's sitting on your city council, you don't know who's doing the meetings in the different areas, like on the different committees. If you don't know these people, you are part of the problem. You can complain about the government, the big daddy government not taking care of you all you want, but your problems come from those people that I just mentioned. If you're not having adequately addressed environmental issues in your local community, it's because your environmental committee is not doing it. And that's because you're not going down to the weekly meetings and making sure they do it, voicing what you want, or participating, joining the committees. You can join the damn committees. Uh, if you want education, go to the educational committee meetings. If you want there's different meetings for everything. There's every city has different committees. Most of them are online. Everybody has a website now. It's the age of the internet. You go to these meetings and you voice your concerns. Like so many times, the internet's filled with so many stories of people in so many areas being mad that governments pass certain laws, and they don't bitch until after the government has voted on it, and they voted on it on these meetings, and they had the meeting the week before for people to come in and vote, but people didn't show up and vote, and then they make excuses like they got to work and things like that. But that's just excuses. Make the time. Now you don't have no excuse. We're all locked down. Make the time. Go to these meetings. Participate. Make these people do what they're supposed to do. Make these people represent you. And if they don't represent you, make them pay. Make them have responsibility. They have a duty and a responsibility to represent you. If they're failing in their duty and their responsibility to represent you, it is your duty and responsibility to remove them. And if they will not be removed by you, it's your duty and responsibility to force it. Everybody, I keep hearing civility, civil disobedience, civil disobedience, civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is, yes, it's important. It's a part of the problem. I'm not the problem. It's part of the solution. It's part of the course of life. It's part of the option to do. But nobody wants to talk about violence. Nobody wants to talk about getting violent. And there is a point when civility doesn't work and it's necessity to get violent. Our founding fathers understood this. They didn't want a war. They had arguments over that. It was necessary for the security of a free state to absolve the ties that bind. They didn't want the Declaration of Independence. They wanted their grievances addressed. It was clear that their grievances would not be addressed, and they had to get violent to fix things. You have to be willing to sacrifice your freedoms to protect them. I mean, if you're going to be nonviolent and you're just going to bitch and you're just going to let cops mace you and stuff, nothing's going to change. Look what's going on. Nothing's changing. Nothing. Nothing is changing. It only started changing when the left started getting violent. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. It's because they started actively participating. Now they're taking it to the extreme for retarded things, but that's why they're being listened to. Are like it's painfully clear. Our politicians are afraid of them, but they don't give a fuck about you because you're not getting like them. Now, I'm not going out there telling you to bomb cars or just attack old people in the streets like Antifa and shit are doing. I'm telling you to arm yourself, go assemble. If the cops tell you you're not assemble, tell them to fuck off. And if they try to force you or arrest you, defend yourself by any means necessary. Our founding fathers would have already been stacking bodies right now. And it's sad to see that the rest of us are not there yet. My line in the sand was way to hell back there. The Constitution is switched cheese. I took an oath to defend it. If I lose my platform because I'm telling you to do what needs to be done, so be it. It's time that we do the duty, we take our responsibility as Americans and perform our American duty to support and defend the Constitution of these United States and hold our government accountable. Eric Swalwell, sleeping with a Chinese spy, is still on our intelligence committee. Still on our intelligence committee. Georgia, during this recent special election, somebody hacked into the voting machines that are not supposed to be on the internet, but they were able to do it in real time, live during the Senate hearing. But yet, Biden is still going to win. We're not holding a special election. We're not trying to mess that mess because the left's getting violent and people are afraid of them. People are so afraid of them that the Supreme Court didn't even want to choose sides. They were like, it's better to just not do our job at all, not mediate disputes between states. We're just going to say no. We're not even going to listen to it. Deal with it yourselves. These cities are falling apart. Squirrels are attacking people for food because nobody's feeding them anymore in New York City. Rats are attacking live pigeons. Animals are getting desperate and going for food. It's only a matter of time before people join them. It's like we're gonna be here anyway, and the longer we take to realize that, the more people that are gonna die. The disease is endemic. It's not going anywhere. We have to learn to live with it, and the only way we're going to learn to live with it is if we adapt and overcome and restore our freedoms. We have to open up our businesses. Open up the businesses, protect the vulnerable. Open up our businesses, protect the vulnerable. Open up our businesses, protect the vulnerable. Open up our businesses, protect our vulnerable. I'm going to say that a couple more times. Open our businesses and protect our vulnerables because I want to make sure it sinks into your head. We cannot allow the government to continue operating the way the government is operating. You are no longer free, and it's unacceptable. And you can say that's easy for me to say. It's not easy for me to say. My money comes from the government. I'm a retired veteran. I don't get money from this. I don't have other jobs. My retirement and my disability pay is my money. And if we go down this route, I'm no longer going to get paid. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice for our freedoms. Why? Because once we restore our freedoms, there'll be plenty of jobs left. We're going to have to fire a whole bunch of police officers. There'll be police jobs left. Going to have to fire a whole bunch of politicians. There'll be political jobs. If you're not willing to sacrifice or take the risks for something, you're not going to achieve anything in life. History is filled with examples that show this. And it's time that we really get there, get out, get in, and do what needs to be done. We have to knuckle down, participate, perform our duty and our responsibility in order to preserve our freedom. We have to participate. And some of you don't seem to know what participation is, so I wanted to do this just to show what it was. I'm going to look it up real quick because I think that it's important that you guys knew. I'm not even going to go too in depth. We're not going to go into a dictionary. We're just going to look at it here on Google because the action of taking part in something. None of you take part in it. You vote people in and then you try and just blame them for everything, but none of you have did your part. When was the last time you donated money to something? When was the last time you went and helped out in your community? When was the last time you became a big brother or big sister? When was the last time you sacrificed money to help feed the homeless? No, it's always fucking do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. None of you are willing to do it on your own. None of you. You want all these free stuffs, but none of you are willing to do the work for it. None. And it needs to stop.